Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Her daughter had to spend a month in a mental health facility just to get over a boy.
From breakup
I didn't know how to handle the situation.
to breakdown.
Elena told her mother at the suicide hotline that she was going to kill herself.
If you know a teenager, this is a show
Not everybody you lose is a loss.
you cannot miss.
She still has stuffed animals on her bed, and you've got her dealing with adult pain. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Well, you know, there's just nothing like first love. Just ask any teenager. The overwhelming feeling of butterflies in your stomach, the love notes, the nonstop texting. We didn't even have that when I was a teenager. But then fast forward to when it's over, and let me tell you, breaking up is hard to do for these kids because they get so fast into the relationship, and then it's a big crash. 15-year-old Elena knows all about that. She says she was broken up with 3 weeks ago and is so heartbroken she cannot bear to even hear the boy's name spoken out loud. Now, her mother, Melanie, says this is not the first time Elena has been devastated by a breakup. She says her daughter had to spend a month in a mental health facility last year just to get over a boy.
My daughter, Elena, had 2 breakups, one at 14, one at 15. She loses her mind. She doesn't know how to deal with rejection from these boys.
My first relationship was stressful. My boyfriend was very manipulative.
I saw some behaviors that were out of the norm. With this boy, she was controlling, needing passwords to his phone. He couldn't have female friends. He could only speak to her.
After a while, he finally broke up with me.
The boy broke up with Elena because she was too controlling.
I felt miserable, and I didn't know how to handle the situation, so I broke down.
I found Elena sitting on the floor with her arms and legs cut up. While we were in the emergency room, they determined that she needed to be transported to a mental health facility. After about a month, when she got home, she seemed very defensive. She really didn't want anyone around her. A year later, she meets and has the second boyfriend. She still had controlling tendencies.
Tell me about the second guy you dated.
Sorry. It's been about 2 weeks since the breakup. It was like a switch went off in my head. I was hateful, depressed, and hating myself.
I don't talk to him. He doesn't want to talk to me. He's already made that clear.
We lasted 8 months.
I found out that Elena faked a pregnancy and a miscarriage to entice the boy not to leave her.
I have had several panic attacks over the second breakup. The last time I had a panic attack was 4 nights ago when I found out he had a new girlfriend. The second relationship is 50 times more painful than the first one. I feel horrible that I didn't keep my boyfriends around. I totally believe it was my fault.
You're 15, right?
Yes.
And you had your first breakup that really bothered you at 14.
Yes.
Help me understand what you say to yourself when you get in a relationship with a boy and you kind of get smitten, you fall in love, you think, oh boy, this is exciting, I like it.
I say a lot of things like, maybe I'm gonna do something wrong, or he's gonna lose interest, or he's gonna like someone else, or something's gonna happen.
Do you worry about that every day?
Yeah.
Why is it worth it then? Is the good part, does that outweigh the fear?
Yes.
And so tell me about the good part. Tell me about the high.
Like the memories and share things that are part of the relationship. The moments where I don't have any fears or worries.
What's the first clue that something's wrong? Because you know it way before it happens, right?
The way he acts.
In the last one, what was the first thing you noticed?
He wasn't being as sweet, and he wasn't texting as much as usual.
And what do you say to yourself then?
Usually, I just start thinking about all the stuff that I possibly did wrong or how it's going to end.
Okay. So at that point, you start taking your own inventory. Now, you have rules, boyfriend rules. Number one, they must be loyal, honest, and there for me. Good rule. Keep that one. Okay? Write that one down, keep that. You deserve that. They have to text back when I text them, and they need to respond right away. I'm not sure you want to keep that one, but that's one of your rules now, okay? Because there could be circumstances that make that hard sometimes. Yep. Like they're driving or getting chewed out by their mom or something. I mean, there could be things that don't have anything to do with you or the relationship. No girls but me. Don't talk to other girls. Don't look at or find them attractive. So would you say that you're easily threatened?
I guess.
I mean, you don't want any competition?
No, I don't. If there was a competition between me and another girl, I don't think I would win.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Boy, if I was another girl, I'd be thinking that about you. Elena told her mother, her ex, and even the suicide hotline that she was going to kill herself. Did she mean it, or was she being manipulative? I'll ask her about that after the break.
Elena is using the mental health card to get the things that she wants. She would say, if I don't get to see the boy, I'm going to tell people that I will hurt myself.
I told my mom I wanted to go to a new health facility to get some real help.
Elena didn't want to go to school, so she called a suicide hotline. They showed up to the house. One of the gentlemen overheard Elena say, what if I tell them I'm suicidal? Do you think they'll take me then? I immediately knew that this was another Elena tactic to get what she wanted.
And later,
Randy gave me a voice message, and it said, hey, Latanya, I'm sorry, I love you, but I have to break up with you. I'm like, what?
This whole process of her trying to get in touch with me turned into a fatal attraction.
Latonia hasn't seen Randy in a year. So is she ready to confront him?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Tomorrow.
From graduating boot camp with honors to attacking his 20-year-old sister and assaulting both of his parents. You're just sitting there, but you're going to jump out of the chair. Boom. You're on the attack.
I just kind of lost it.
These things are not impacting me or my wife.
My parents are in denial of how bad I am.
If we're here to try to make it okay, I can just blow smoke and we can be done in 5 minutes.
That's tomorrow. Then, on Thursday, she said her mother turned her in.
Child Protective Services wanted to talk to me.
So she kicked her out.
This is my home.
How do you feel about the fact that she's living in her car?
That's Thursday.
When I date someone, I definitely have rules. They can't talk to other girls, they can't stare at other girls, and they can't hang out with other girls. And I have to have their accounts on my phones. I'm able to see who they're texting, who they're following, and what they're liking. They have to be loyal, honest, and be there for me because at times I know I can be clingy. I'm okay with them having guy friends as long as their guy friends respect the relationship. These rules are normal for me, but not for other people. I'm just easily jealous, and it makes me seem controlling, but I can't help it.
Well, Melanie says her daughter Elena has the tendency to break down after a breakup. 3 weeks ago, when another boy broke up with her, she refused to go back to that school.
Elena left high school because she was concerned about running into this boy.
I would love to go back to regular school, but not anytime soon. I mentally and physically cannot bring myself to do so because of the people and the boy himself.
Elena elected to go to an alternative school, which is a school that children are sent to when they get in trouble with the law. You're very impressionable, and you're around a crowd that's completely different
I'm not gonna be like them. I like alternative school because I can be able to focus on my studies without the people that would bother me about my breakups.
She really, really loves it, but for all the wrong reasons. There isn't much supervision. She's able to do what she wants.
In regular school, I was behind and failing. In alternative school, I am ahead of all my classes and have all A's.
Elena doesn't miss anything about going back to the old school. She didn't really have friends to miss there anyway.
It is definitely easy to be a loner in alternative school.
Okay, so you let this happen. You let her switch schools.
I did. At the time, I thought it was the best, but I think it was just the easiest route to take versus going through what she normally puts us through.
Which is?
Which is tantrums and threats and manipulation and just things that she says she's going to do to the family if she doesn't get what she wants.
Would you be surprised to know that statistically, the chance of the person that is going to be your life partner being the one that you're dating when you're in your teens is something real close to zero? Does that surprise you?
No.
So why would you not expect that these early relationships are kind of transient? You kind of date them for a while, and then you date another one for a while, and then you date another one for a while.
Because I always try to do everything long term.
Yeah. But you just said, I understand that that's not going to happen.
But I don't think she does understand that. Because when she's with these boys, she tends to let me know that they are going to get married. This is the one. It's long term. I don't care that I'm 15. I know this for a fact.
That.
You do say that.
No, I don't.
This last one you did.
No, I did not.
You told me the whole 5-year plan.
No, I did
California,
not.
you're going to live here and do this. And
oh, my God. Okay.
no kids. You did.
No, I did not.
Well, you're not. You know, it's not going to be that guy. And, you know, you're probably going to meet and start dating somebody else at some point in the future, right? And the chance that they're going to be the one is probably not very good either. But that doesn't mean that they can't be nice, and it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy dating them while you're dating them. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you or him. There are 3 reasons this is happening to Elena, and I'm going to tell her what they are next. So if I took you and put you in the cockpit of a jet airplane, what would likely happen?
Crash.
Damn right. She's in so far over her head, she doesn't have a clue. And that's why she has a parent. Would you like to know why you're having these reactions so bad?
Sure.
One is, and I hate to sound like a Freudian, one of the things he got right is that daughters are really impacted by their relationships with their fathers. And if there's a really great relationship with their father, and that father makes that daughter feel like she is the princess, she is the most wonderful, special girl in the world, then it really makes her strong and feel good about herself and helps her to have a great self-image. And therefore, when some boy comes along and says, wow, you're really special, she goes like, yeah, I know that. And if that doesn't happen, and some boy comes along and blows in her ear and says, you're really special, she goes, oh, really? And she just leans in there like, oh my God, I've been waiting my whole life to hear that. The fact of the matter is, your dad's not really in the picture at this point, right? And so that makes you kind of vulnerable. The second thing, you said this, and I actually took it out of your tape piece, and I want to play that. Here's exactly what you said.
I didn't know how to handle the situation, so I broke down.
I didn't know how to handle the situation, So I broke down. So if I took you and put you in the cockpit of a jet airplane, would you know what to do?
No.
Would you know how to get it on the ground?
No.
What would likely happen?
Crash.
Damn right. You would crash. Why? Because I don't know how to handle the situation. So nobody in their right mind would take a child and put them in a situation they don't know how to handle. And that's why she has a parent. A parent is supposed to keep kids out of situations they don't know how to handle. She still has stuffed animals on her bed, and you've got her in an adult relationship dealing with adult emotions and adult behaviors and adult pain in an adult-like breakup, and she doesn't have any more idea how to deal with that than she would landing an Airbus 380.
Yep.
Elena says her breakups have crushed her confidence. We're going to talk about that next.
Elena is very content to be in her room, to have only her phone, no friends, no family, no support. She seems to want that now. Even her girlfriends that she used to have, she showed the same patterns as she did with these boys. She would tell a close girlfriend, "Why are you hanging out with another girl? You can't talk to anybody but me. Am I not your best friend?" And these girls would kind of leave her and say, "Okay, I can't handle being your friend anymore." She has cut everyone out of her life now. She is just an island on her own with no one around.
I said there were 3 reasons that this was happening. And the third reason is you've neglected the most important relationship in your life, and that's the one that you have with yourself. Tell me the 5 best things about you. Number 1?
Loyal.
Okay, you're loyal.
Dedicated. Honest. I can tolerate a lot of stuff.
Okay, so you're tolerant, okay.
Supportive.
Why did you have to dig so hard for that?
Had to think about it.
Do you think about those things when somebody breaks up with you? Do you think, well, you know what? They've just turned around and walked off from somebody that is loyal, dedicated, honest, very tolerant, and supportive. That's who they just walked away from, dummy. Do you ever think that?
No. Think about what I did wrong or how I wasn't good enough in this way or that way. And I think about how I just don't have the personality or the looks that they might want.
Well, boy, you rattled those off really quick. You seem to know the things that are negatives just on speed dial, but you really have to dig for the things that are good about you. Have you ever had a girlfriend whose boy has dumped him?
Yeah.
Did you tell her, "Hey, you probably did something wrong. You just don't have a good enough personality. That's why he dumped you"?
No.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I usually tell them, like, there will be better and they're not worth it.
What'd you think about being your own best friend? The first thing you have to do is say, I'm going to learn to be in a relationship with myself. I'm going to learn that I'm not going to give my power away to some boy. He doesn't get to decide how I feel about myself. And until you can do that, you should not get in another relationship. Until you can say, I'm not going to base how I feel about me on how I think he feels about me. Not everybody you lose is a loss. You'll figure that out. What are you going to do with this?
I can't be doing anything right if it's still going on. I haven't found what works or what I'm supposed to be doing or...
Well, you cave.
I do. I cave hard.
You need reinforcements here, is what I think. I asked Coach Mike Baer to be here for you. And Coach Mike, we've talked about this. What do you think is in store here?
Thank you, Dr. Phil. And to your point about behaving, you know, the first step we would look at is how do you behave as the best version of yourself as a parent? How do you be that mom for your daughter? How do you be that strength? Real mom. I mean, change your posture. First thing we do, sit up like Supermom right now. How would you be right now, in this moment? I think just like your daughter and Dr. Phil has said, you don't have the tools to get through this. And so we walk through it together. We text, we talk on the phone, we strategize, so you don't fall back into some old patterns.
I've kind of done this alone, so to have like an ear or a sounding board would be great.
And that's what you're setting up, right?
That's what we're going to do.
Coach Mike is the author of the New York Times bestseller, Best Self, Be You Only Better. And the good thing to do is start with studying, not just reading, but studying this book. And you get her a copy of this, and we'll begin there. Now, you have a problem with the way you feel about you. I'm not worried about what you say. I'm worried about what you think, because you think 10 times faster than you talk, and your internal dialogue is telling you a lot of things at high speed that are programming you to lack self-esteem, self-worth, and self-confidence. We're going to slow that thinking down, take a hard look at what it is, and when you see what you're thinking, what you're telling yourself on high speed, you're going to go, hell, no wonder I'm reacting the way I am. And you're going to be astounded at the power you have within you to change who you are and the strength you have. And woe be the next boy that comes along when you get the power that you need. Okay? All right. My next guest says her life also went downhill after a breakup. She claims she ended up in a homeless shelter after her boyfriend revealed he was cheating. Her story next.
Randy started telling me he loved me shortly after we started to have sex.
It wasn't like I was saying I was in love with her. What I was saying was, accept who you are and what we have right now.
3 months into the relationship, Randy and I started talking about kids.
I think it was an equal cat and mouse game between the two of us.
Well, first love is difficult, but what about when you're an adult and find the man of your dreams? Now, LaTonya says when she met Randy, she thought he was distinguished and handsome, and she quickly fell for his charms. But just a few months into their relationship, Randy left a voicemail breaking up with her, and that's when her life took a nosedive. Things got so bad she lost her job and ended up in a homeless shelter. Now, it's been almost 2 years, and LaTonya still hasn't been able to move on. 2 years. But Randy says their relationship, he says it was just casual, and it shouldn't have been a surprise. Here's their story.
When I met Randy, I thought he was kind of cute.
It took about 2 weeks before we became intimate. It wasn't like I sat her down and I said, we can really make things work and like see a future together. It was just a casual moment.
Randy started telling me he loved me shortly after we started to have sex. I was shocked. You love me already and you barely know me.
It wasn't like I was saying I was in love with her. What I was saying was, accept who you are and what we have right now.
Randy's the one who pursued me. He's the one who called me. He's the one that wanted to be with me.
I think I did pursue her a little bit, but I think it was also an equal cat and mouse game between the two of us. She was under the impression that her and I were exclusive. I was seeing 2 or 3 other women. I never needed to correct her because she was under my control. She was hypnotized. She was in love. She's smitten.
3 months into the relationship, Randy and I started talking about kids.
We may have had conversations about having kids. I said, well, if you get pregnant, you get pregnant. It was never like a, let's make a little Randy Jr.
I was in the process of bringing him to Minnesota so that he can meet my family.
Once I heard that, I said, let's push the pause button. I was trying to figure out the best way to let her off easy, because if I just throw her from the Freedom Train, she's just gonna go rogue.
Randy calls me, he leaves me a voice message, and it said, hey, LaTanya, I'm sorry, I love you, but I have to break up with you because I cheated on you with 2 women. I'm like, what? You dumped me via voice message? When I called him, he wouldn't pick up the phone. I just showed it to his job because I'm like, I'm not gonna be ignored.
This whole process of her trying to get in touch with me turned into a fatal attraction.
I need Randy to explain what happened. I need him to apologize to me. And once he answers that, then I'll be able to move on with my little life.
What are you thinking? You've spent 2 years perseverating over this relationship?
He kept constantly coming back talking about how he wanted to work it out, so I'm thinking maybe we can work out the relationship.
You said he kept coming back? Did you not have a lock on your door?
I was thinking, look, we can get over the cheating. That's the only thing I was thinking is we can get over this hump. So I didn't know that he had kids on the way, though. He cheated on me with 2 females and got them both pregnant.
When you find this out, why are you not out in the parking lot saying, thank you, God. Thank you that I dodged a bullet here.
Because the emotions were still there, because when he broke up with me on that voicemail, I was at work, so I'm like, what's going on that he's acting so distant?
You said, because I was at work. I don't care if you're hanging upside down like a bat. When that message comes in, does that not tell you you've got a serious problem with this person?
It didn't to me. I didn't know. I wasn't having fun.
On the voicemail, he says, I'm breaking up with you. I'm cheating with 2 other women. So where was the ambiguity here?
I was just like, maybe we could just work it out. It's okay that you cheated. We can work it out, because the love was there.
I want to tell you what he said so you know. He said, I said I love you in a friendly way. I never meant I was in love with LaTonya. I always say I love people. She was smitten, in love, and obsessed with the way I made her feel.
I was not obsessed.
I understand why she says we were in a relationship, but I don't agree with it.
He told me he asked to be with me.
You still have some unanswered questions.
Yes, I do.
Well, we'll try and get them answered, okay? Coming up, LaTonya hasn't seen Randy in a year. So is she ready to confront him?
Well, yeah, I'm ready.
All right. After the break, he'll be here.
Once we became intimate, I knew I had control. The sex was great. I'm the guy of their dreams. I'm the knight in shining armor.
The breakup caused a downward spiral in my life. I stopped being focused on my career.
She blowing up my phone, sending me text messages, leaving me voicemails. She would try anything she could to get in contact with me.
When I met Randy, I was working 3 jobs. I lost jobs because of Randy. I had lost my home because I couldn't afford to pay my rent. I stopped caring about my other obligations like family and friends because my focal point was just trying to get my man back.
LaTonya maybe losing her apartment and a job. None of those things has anything to do with me. You can't go to your landlord and say, well, my boyfriend broke up with me, so I can't pay my rent this month. Like, this is not gonna work.
LaTonya emailed me saying she was pursuing her dream in a big city and everything was going her way until her boyfriend Randy cheated and then dumped her on the voicemail. Now, Randy admits he was seeing several women, but he says he was never LaTonya's boyfriend. He just made her think he was. He admits that. Take a look.
I think most guys are manipulative when it comes to dating. You have to gain some type of competitive advantage over the person that you're competing against, which unfortunately is a woman. Our relationship was primarily sexual. Once we became intimate, I knew I had control. Once a woman finds a guy that she likes, she has great sex with him, automatically the ball's in your court. I'm the guy of their dreams. I'm the knight in shining armor. After the breakup, I knew she would handle it bad, but I didn't think she would act out as much as she did. It wasn't too much crying, like calling my phone, boo-hooing. It was just a lot of, give me another chance, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. She wasn't ready to let go. Before LaTonya goes out and starts to date, she needs to work on herself. She has to make better decisions with the guys that she's dating. I think she needs to find more value in herself, just knowing her worth and knowing what she brings to the table.
Well, You're pretty proud of the way you turned out.
I wouldn't say I'm proud. I would just, I'm trying to be as honest and straightforward as possible.
So what was the point of coming into my life just to cheat on me and leave me? What was the point of coming into my life, into my realm, into my circle, if you really didn't want to be with me, you don't want anything to do with me, if you're going to keep sleeping with your baby's mom and having kids with her? What was the point of that? I put my heart into you to just throw me away like that and act like I wasn't there. It didn't say we were never together. If we were never together, why would you call me on my phone to break up with me? You don't call someone you're not with to break up with them. What was the point of coming to me? What was the point of asking me for my number in June? What was the point?
Okay, you can't let him answer.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't come into your life with any specific intention. You know how the dating field is, you kind of get with people, you hook up with them. You don't really know where things are gonna go. You're not really asking those difficult questions up front.
So you didn't come into it with the idea to con her?
No, not at all.
However, you say once you have sex with a girl, you get control of them.
Absolutely, of course. Women have their own manipulative ways in how they manipulate men, especially if you look at married couples. Sometimes the wife can sit there and manipulate her husband to do what she wants. It's an even exchange of energy. It's just a matter of how you use it. You can use it for good, you can use it for evil.
How'd you use it?
In this situation, I didn't use it for good. Definitely wasn't for good. I mean, at times, again, like I said, I think outside of just us being intimate, I still supported her dreams and supported her in what she was doing.
So did you use her?
No, there was nothing to use her from. I had nothing to really gain from her.
Did you abuse her? Did you abuse her trust?
I definitely abused her trust, absolutely. And once I realized I got too far into the situation and that things were kind of becoming a real permanent staple, I pulled back. And that's when I broke up with her.
Dropped her a voicemail?
Yeah. She didn't answer the phone.
You knew I was at work.
I didn't know that.
You say your life just came unraveled.
Yeah, because where his mother's house was close to my job. So I just clocked out and left, and I wanted to go speak to him. So I put that job in jeopardy because I was more concerned about speaking to this guy and what was going on with this guy than I was about making my money.
And your goal was?
To speak to him and work things out.
And you still want to work things out?
No, it's okay.
Are you finished with this?
Yeah, after this show, yes. I'm finished.
What is it you've learned since you got here that you didn't know before you came?
Now I know the truth, that he was just playing on my emotions, and it was all a game to him.
So where are you on her now?
I'm nowhere in sight.
So you want no relationship with her?
No, I made that clear to her.
No future with her?
No.
You don't want to date her? You're not going to show up over at her house?
No.
You shouldn't play with people's hearts like that. You ever seen Fatal Attraction? Someone will kill you. I was that close.
You were that close?
Yeah.
You should have seen it.
Don't chime in.
You seem like a very nice lady. And
I am until someone messes with my heart like this guy did.
You don't think I've messed with your heart, do you?
No, you're very nice. You're very kind.
I want to put a sign up, and I want you to read it for me.
Don't burn daylight chasing the wrong one. The right one won't run.
Ooh.
At the time, I thought he was the right one. He would call me, he would text me.
But you know how you know? Read the last part of that.
The right one won't run. Right. You're right.
That's how you know.
Okay.
Coming up, a mother of 9 children and another on the way faced a big dilemma. You're going to find out what when we meet her next. Imagine having 9 children, ages 1 to 15, and you've got another one on the way. That's the life of my next guest, Tara, who says she struggled with the current debate many parents are facing. Should she or shouldn't she vaccinate her children? Take a look.
Bye-bye, Mommy. My husband and I have 9 beautiful children, ages 14 to 1, and we're expecting number 10 in just 6 weeks. 6 plus 5 is what? I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I've homeschooled the kids, and that's pretty much my main gig.
Sure.
There are times when it's challenging to make decisions for my kids' health because when I first became a mom 14 years ago, I didn't hesitate at all about vaccines. It only took 4 years of motherhood for me to become vaccine hesitant. That, however, turned into 7 years of hesitation because life got busy with young kids and just life. What made me stop vaccinating was the fear of what could happen. Everybody come here! Now I feel that it is important to get your children vaccinated for their own health. You got a toy? Yeah. But I think parents need to be well informed about vaccines so they can make a confident decision because the stakes are really high. Nobody wants to play Russian roulette with their kids' health.
Well, Tara is joining me along with our very good friend, Dr. Frida Lewis Hall, Chief Patient Officer of Pfizer. So, welcome. Well, Terry, you mentioned in the tape that you initially vaccinated your children, then stopped at baby number 4. What changed your mind?
I started hearing a lot of things from other moms, and especially online, just concerning things about safety risks with vaccines, and honestly, I got scared.
But then by baby 7, you both agreed that vaccinations would be best again. Why?
I talked to a health advocate, and she told us, make sure you check your sources of information really carefully. And that was the changer. I was confident to start revaccinating the kids, but in the few weeks as I was setting up the catch-ups, all 7 of them came down with whooping cough. And it was a nightmare, you can imagine.
Wow. So, Dr. Frida, what a huge wake-up call that was for Tara and her family. So, with so much conflicting information out there, how can a parent know what's best when it comes to vaccines?
So you want to gather information, ask questions, and get medical advice from credible, reliable sources based on the science, just as Tara did. And vaccines work. The CDC reported that from 1994 to 2013, it's estimated that 21 million hospitalizations and 732,000 deaths were prevented by immunizations in children that were born in that 20-year span.
There's been so much in the news recently about measles outbreaks, presumably because people aren't getting vaccines anymore for that. Is that true?
Well, according to the CDC, that is true. So if you look at the 2019 measles outbreak here in the United States, there are about 1,200 cases that have resulted in this outbreak by November the 7th. And this disease can be serious. If you look at those cases in 2019, nearly 1 in 10 resulted in hospitalization.
Really? Well, what about this controversy that vaccines are linked to autism?
Since 2003, there have been 9 CDC-funded or conducted studies that have found no link between the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine and autism. A lot of people say, then how did all of this get started? So there was a study in 1998 that has since been debunked. So the research that was the base of the study was found to be false. The journal that published the study has withdrawn it, and the doctor who wrote it has lost his medical license. I think people don't realize is that vaccines undergo very extensive and rigorous study to determine the safety and the effectiveness before the FDA approves it. This can take years, if not decades.
And what about parents who worry about giving multiple vaccinations to infants?
First of all, the immune systems of infants is a lot stronger than you may think. Vaccines really account for only a fraction of the thousands of antigens or germs that babies and children are exposed to every day, from what they eat, from the air, from stuff they put in their mouths. So the vaccines are designed to help the baby's immune or the child's immune system respond to certain infections more effectively and faster. In fact, studies show that not only is it safe to give several injections at the same time, but you end up with protection for the baby faster or earlier than they may otherwise have gotten it, and you have less visits to the doctor at the same time. Now, the CDC recommends vaccination against 14 infectious diseases before the age of 2. Why? Because that's when babies are at the highest risk for these serious illnesses.
What about side effects from all these vaccinations?
As with any medicine, vaccines can have side effects, like soreness at the injection site or low-grade fever, but these usually go away within days and on their own. The bottom line is that vaccines are one of the best opportunities that we have to reduce the risk of serious effects of certain illnesses. But you should always talk to your doctor about any medicine or vaccination and the potential side effects if you're giving something to your child.
Well, look, a great place to learn more about vaccines is at gethealthystayhealthy.com. It's got so much information.
And of course, while you're there, you can sign up for our monthly newsletter.
I'd like to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to my buddy, Dr. Frida Lewis Hall. And thank you so much for coming here, and good luck on number 10.
Good luck on number 10.
We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Thanks so much.